One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Just so many hours you spent on the phone, I wasted here loving you. Now you gonna tell me that you're on your own, you're leaving me sad and blue. Just so many days you've been on my mind, you've been starting trouble on down the line. Fool if I go, fool if I stay, tell you what I'm gonna do. Tell you what I'm gonna do. Tell you what I'm gonna do. Let it roll, let it glide, let it fall.
Those tunes we hear, Mr. Producer, those melodious grooves, Pine Box Dwellers.
Knocking out of the park.
Those boys, they're on the money. We thank them. Welcome. Howdy. Howdy, howdy, howdy. This is the 27th episode of the Clay and Woodrow Show. Right off the bat, Woody's not here. We're in contract negotiations with Woody to get him back. And right now, our people are talking to his people, his agent's talking to our agent, and it's just things aren't. He's sitting out right now.
He's doing it over Zoom too. He won't even come. He won't even come in person.
Yeah, he won't have conversations with us. He's trying to renegotiate his contract. So Woody's just simply not in studio today. Right off the bat, I want to welcome you to the 17th floor of the Trellis Carpenter Building in the Timmy Tooper Studios. And today, our sponsor is Ivy's. No, it's not Ivy's. It was going to be Ivy's. We'll do Ivy's one day, but it is. I changed my mind on that. We're going to go
downtown.
DC downtown is what we decided to go with. So Destination Church, which God bless those folks, out of the box type of thinking, good people, not just people that are being discipled, but they're turning around and reinvesting back into the community and helping people. You really need to look into their DC downtown. There are really the old Brunel Street area of where old Central Baptist Church is. What they're doing there to feed the hungry, and they're doing it, making no excuses about getting it done. And so if you can be a pivotal part of that ministry, check in with those guys. I know Charles Pritchett's a good guy to call or check into if you want to become involved with them. But that's not a church that I attend. But man, I'm super supportive of what those guys do.
They do a lot of good work.
They're doing all the right things that all the churches should be doing, and they're getting their hands dirty. And that's what it's all about, really bringing the church to the people. And so just want to give a great shout out to DC Downtown. So a lot to cover today, Mr. Producer. Some of it not even, I'm so excited we got some things that aren't even Corona related.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is what, and God bless them, the Ware County tax assessors, they just like, listen, our folks in this community, they're so tired about talking about Corona. Let's give them something else to talk about. So instead of gradually raising their taxes like over the last decade, let's just go out and zap them. All residents, all in one time, just get them all at one time. And if you've not heard, you've been living under a rock. But the tax assessors have been a little bit active in the community. And the southern thing to say right now is God bless their hearts. God bless their hearts. The tax assessors have been out, and I will say that it deals with people paying money, so people are very sensitive about it. But if you really try to explain somebody they don't want to hear that. They do not want to be educated on how this one works. They just want to say, and many people have the right to be, angry. At the end of the day, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And all I'm going to do is get, the other day I tried to explain it. People just like, rawr, just like, but at the end of the day, here's what's happened. I got my blood. Let me just calm down.
Just unpeel the onion.
Unpeel there's a lot of layers here in this onion, but truthfully speaking, not all houses, I'm painting with a pretty wide brush here, but for the most part, Ware County houses, for the most part, like 99%, were selling for much, much more and being appraised by licensed appraisers for sometimes 12, 13, 14, 15, 20% more. They were selling for more than what their tax value was, like when you go to the tax card. And really, at the end of the day, what we should all want our tax value to be is to be exactly right, to the penny. I really shouldn't want it to be less or more. I should just want it to be accurate. I will say people in Waycross have been spoiled for so long that they have been accustomed to their tax value being, in most cases, substantially less than what their house is really worth. And here's how you know it. It's because when they go to sell their house, if you walk in there and say, Well, your tax card says that your house is worth $80,000. They're just like, oh no, I'm not selling this house for $80,000. I think it's worth $100,000, and that's probably about right. That's the ratio that we typically see. So the tax assessors have made I think they've made a huge mistake in over compensating, and they've overtaxed, and they've gone overboard and overkilled. But instead of doing it over a period of time, they just hit them all at one time. The other thing that people don't understand is your assessment and what they say the value of your home is technically is not. Listen to this, folks. Please listen to the whole thing. I beg. I love you people, but listen to the whole thing. It technically should not affect what you pay in taxes. It ultimately will, because our governments will not shift the millage rate. It is just the collective tax digest is garnered by getting that information in. And the budget should say this is how much money, and then you put a millage rate as a multiplier towards that tax digest. And so that tax digest, if it goes up considerably, and by the way, it's about to, because the tax assessors just went nuts and just started, that digest is going to go up. So in theory, the millage rate should go down. Therefore, my tax bill should not move. It is going to move. I am going to pay more in taxes because of the simple reason that tax digest is going to grow. And I'm one of those people that they've increased mine as well. And they're not going to change the millage rate. They're going to leave that multiplier the same. And so we are going, but the multiplier is what determines what we pay, not the digest. But if you don't move that multiplier down, then yes, we are all going to pay. And yes, they're not going to move it down because government's not logical or reasonable. So they're not going to do that. And so they're going to brag about keeping the millage rate where it is. But if you keep the millage rate where it is and increase the tax digest, we've lost every listener right now. Did you just realize that? Nobody, people are bored to tears. But anyhow, and the comments are going to be, and they're going to try to explain to me, I know what I'm talking about. I don't know ballet. So you know what I don't talk about on this show? Ballet. See, but just that's what's going on. You followed it a little bit.
I followed.
Okay, all right. So
I do have one question, because I do spend a little bit of time
sure.
under a rock.
Yeah.
And so this is Ware County.
Yes.
Or just Waycross?
No. So they Ware County. And the other thing is, you'll see in the comments, they're just like, I can't believe my county commissioners. It's not the county commission. Now, the county commission is responsible for that millage rate. The county commission has a part of the millage rate. The city has a part of the millage rate, and the school board has a part of that millage rate. They should come down if the digest grows. Okay. So with all that being said, trust me, the comments are rolling in right now. Just like,
well, people need to get it off their chest. Just go ahead.
Yeah, I'm like a therapist, but I love those people. But if I'm not going to name names, but somebody last night was complaining about their tax value, but the tax value was still less. Their reassessment was still less than what he just paid for his house. So I'm just saying, so you're making the argument that you way overpaid for but you can't have a rational conversation over Facebook. And my wife keeps saying, yeah, but you're the idiot, Clay, because you keep trying. you know, and so the guy paid, let's say $100,000 for his house, and he's mad that his assessment came back like at 89. I'm making up numbers that aren't accurate to protect the innocent.
Yeah, but that would be a good. I still think that's a good deal.
I was just like, well, then how? So you're either admitting that you paid $11,000 too much for your house, or quite frankly, you got a heck of a good deal on where they assessed your house. Okay, right. So enough being said. Throughout the weeks, we'll have more energy on this kind of thing. Second thing, let's go a little bit Corona. We should have a little music when we talk about the Corona, something, a little bit Corona. What I can't, because now I've just gotten on the nerves of everybody that just got a tax increase, me included. So now what I'm going to jump on is, I think our single greatest potential. Notice that word potential. I'm just trying to save myself and not get my legs cut off because I have to make a living in this community. Education may be the industry that overreacts to Corona the most because, to be fair to education, they have this overwhelming sense of what's the first thing. Company line is, our foremost responsibility is, oh, come on, jump on. Our foremost responsibility is
students,
but keeping our young people safe.
Yeah.
Even in the meetings, they'll say, "Listen, we're supposed to educate them, but our primary before we can do that, we've got to keep them safe." Man, I don't have an argument with that. That seems like a rational, kind of thought. But they might have a tendency as well to overreact. So I get it. But I did pull up the CDC, which, by the way, can only make guidelines and suggestions. The CDC is not a committee of real enforcement, so they can only make suggestions. Is something kind of interesting. They have suggestions and regulations because these school systems right now are trying to figure out if we're going to open in the fall and how we're going to open in the fall and what it's going to look at. So when you go to the CDC's guidelines plus some other people mixed in, they are coming up with things as in you got to keep your students 6 foot apart. And so my first question to the people at the CDC is, apparently you've never been into a kindergarten classroom.
Oh, man.
That just doesn't happen.
That's right.
So you got to keep 6 people apart. And then perhaps here's some other things that are being thrown around. Only 12 kids on a bus at a time. I'm not super great at math because I was public school educated. But by the way, phenomenal public school education. That's just a figure of speech. I don't want public, whatever.
Well, I mean, you did go to Mercer too.
I did go to Mercer.
So if you're still struggling in math, maybe they fell down.
That's right. Maybe that's private. That's private school education. No, I had a great education. People are so sensitive today. You just have to watch it. When I'm 55, I won't give a hoot what I say. I'll just let people get mad with me. But my understanding is if you used to carry about 45 kids crammed on a bus and now you're only going to carry 12, you're either going to need to have 3 times as many buses or 3 times less students, if my math is correct, or even talks about kids going to school only on Mondays and Wednesdays and the other portion of school, kids going on Tuesdays and Thursdays and all this kind of, I get it. I mean, it's not going to work. That's crazy talk. But I get what they're saying. I mean, I understand the practical part of that, but here's what I love the most, and this is really going to get people's their dander up. But and quite frankly, Georgia schools are saying these kind of things. Now, I'm not speaking on behalf of our local school board because I know those people and my wife is employed by them, so I would never even bring them into the mix of the conversation. Never ever would I do that. Ever. So, but there is some talk about like rotation because we got to keep these kids apart. But have you noticed also that the school systems are saying, but by George, come fall, our board's going to be playing football. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what you're hearing. Listen, we're having football this fall. But from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., it is critical because of student health. Safety. And their well-being.
Sure.
That we keep them 6 foot apart. But at 3:30, when we have a school-sanctioned event like football, and you know me, I barely can keep up with football.
No.
Don't know much about. Like when I look right over your shoulder on my shelf, do I see 2 helmets and 3 footballs and a bunch of bobbleheads of football players? So I barely can keep up with the sport. I know very little about it. But the little bit that I do know about it here, Mr. Producer, is from time to time at that sanctioned practice, they will come into contact with one another.
I understand that.
Yeah, and so from what I understand, as I'm getting in what's considered to be reliable, credible sources, like our guys aren't doing like 2-hand touch above the waist or pulling of said flags. My understanding is it's a contact sport.
No social distancing there.
Well, it's got to be because from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., because of the safety of our kids, they cannot have any contact. So this leads me to believe that the coronavirus does not penetrate, is not effective. It is not something that we need to fear after 3:30. So
I feel better.
The trombone section, bless their hearts, can be 6 foot apart. Tuba section, already 6 foot apart. The snare drum, 6 foot apart. Flag, cheerleader, 6 foot apart. Cross country, you want to be 6 foot apart. You want to be.
Sure.
But wait a second. Old Feetsball, the old gridiron game, we are determined it has got to occur. But it isn't physical contact. So I can only have 12 kids on a bus because I'm worried about their safety. But at 3:30 in the afternoon, those 95 kids we would like to encourage them to do drills such as Oklahoma, where they get 6 foot apart from one another, and when a whistle blows, as quickly as they can, they will run together and they will make contact with one another.
Yeah.
Seems rational.
Sure.
Okay. I don't have any problems with it.
No.
Yeah.
Clay, what you saying? You got some troubles with football around here?
No, sir, Bubba. I'm just pro common sense. And that doesn't seem to align to me with common sense. We're going to start football, but you can only have 12 people on the bus. You follow it, don't you?
I follow it. I'm with you.
Perfect. Now, I'm not talking about our area.
Yeah.
I'm talking about other areas.
Other
areas. How you doing?
I can't complain.
Good, man. That's good to hear. That's good news. Gave Ivy's Laundry a little sneak peek of a mention of. They're not even our sponsor.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's my fault. That's poor production. Poor production planning. That's PPP. Poor production planning on my fault. And I'm sorry.
People a little glimpse
A little
behind
glimpse
the scenes.
into the future. Thank you, sir. On other news, because I've aggravated every property owner in Ware County, not intentionally, just trying to just talk about what's going on. Probably aggravated everybody that likes high school football. They don't realize that I like high school football more than they do, but I'm a bigger fan of common sense, which is a lost art. Can I tell you, friend? It's gone. Old common sense. It's gone.
It's not very common.
Not very common. Number 3. Let me begin by saying I'm an avid supporter of the Boys in Blue, protecting, serving me and my family, and got great friends that are in law enforcement. So I just want to tell them I thank them for their responsibility of on Memorial Day pulling me over and giving me a certificate of participation and merit.
Oh, wow.
For, as he said to me, and very politely, very cordially, I think he even called me Mr. Thomas. Golly, that just meant, whew, that's customer service. You know what I'm saying? But it said I'd almost stopped. He told me I'd almost stopped. But he felt pretty certain that more or less it was a roll. And old fella went back to his car, and I said, well, if I almost stopped, he's probably just back there checking on my license and making sure that I'm not, on ISIS, on the FBI's most wanted. And I noticed he was back there for a while. When they're back there for a while, that only means one thing: is he was writing up a show enough ticket. And I'd like to report to you, as a courtesy to you, Mr. Producer, if you almost stop, but you kind of roll, it costs you $183.
Oh,
man. 183. And that's not in yen or euro or any of that kind of stuff. That's in American dollars, $183.
I've heard you can't put a price on good customer service, and I think you just did.
Let me tell you something.
$183.
It's cordial. After he gave me a ticket for $183, in which he even said I almost stopped, he was kind enough to tell me to have a good day, and I'm appreciative of that. And by the way, I did have a good day. Probably not necessarily because of him, but my day was good. Spent it with my family. I said, man, there's nothing better to top off this day than getting a ticket for $183 for. You're probably curious about kind of what the conditions were.
Yeah. What was
dangerous condition? No.
Was there like a lot of people there?
Not a car in sight. Not a car in sight.
Where was your field of vision impaired?
So
could you not
wide open spaces. I could see down all for hundreds of yards. It was wide. Beautiful day. Not rainy or anything like that. Beautiful day. You know what car I saw? Only car I saw
was that
black and white car with Christmas lights on top. That's what I saw. And pulled right on up and gave me a $183 ticket. And to that, I say thank you. America, I say thank you. Because at some point in time, they were not aware that our local assessors were about to sock us, right over the nose with raising all of our property values. If they would have known that, they're like, listen, This guy, he just lives in this town and tries to make a living, but the whole community just got zapped by tax assessors. Let's not get him today. He didn't know that. So he's just like, well, for all I know, this guy doesn't pay enough property taxes, so let me get him for almost stopping. So very cordial, extremely cordial. Could not say enough good things about his conduct, his demeanor, his interaction. And I asked her as he was walking away, I was like, is there any way that $183 could go towards shutting down more pickleball courts? You know, that's why the city of Waycross is famous. Could I earmark my revenue gift? Could I earmark that to shutting down pickleball courts? And he said, no, that's not appropriate. I think it goes back to the general fund or what. Let me tell you, I don't care where it goes. I'm just glad to support my community. It's like $100. I should be able to write it off of my taxes. It's like a donation.
It really is a
Yeah.
mandatory donation.
It's an assessment. I've lived here for a decade and they hadn't zapped me with an assessment. So they just got me with an assessment.
How is it not an expense?
No, just, I'm just giving towards, a better Ware County tomorrow. Technically Waycross. It would go to Waycross. It was not that I'd like to bring this up because this caused some controversy, but I noticed the guys in Brown don't do that to you. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. I didn't say that, did I? I didn't say that.
didn't hear you.
The guys at Brown kind of wave at you and say, thank you for being a good citizen and my neighbor. And
Thank you for almost stopping.
yeah. Thank you for almost stopping. So let me tell you this. So here's my final conclusion. The way to not get extorted out of $183 for almost coming to a stop is by coming to a complete stop. It's on me. I own it. But you think if you almost came to a complete stop, like they could do a percentage of the $183. It's like, sir, you came to 95% of a stop. We would like for you to pay 5% of the $183. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen. But I give to other charities in the area. So this is one more I hadn't planned on, giving to. But, thumbs up. I did give. So to that end, just a couple of things. Had a conversation the other day with a friend. So I need help from the listeners. By the way, the listeners are all gone because I have made property tax, citizens mad, police officers mad, and
High school football
enthusiasts.
That's the biggest one.
I made them mad.
Yeah.
But gosh, I love them all. I really do. But the 2 to 3 people are still hanging around to hear all this nonsense. Can anybody tell me exactly where the Bone Tree was? You familiar with the Bone Tree?
No.
It's where everybody would go to fight at high school. It's in the Reed's pasture area back behind the Mormon church before it was developed, but that's where we would go. But I want to be able to walk back and I don't remember exactly where the Bone Tree, and I don't know how they got the name the Bone Tree. And there's people out there that are listening that, I saw 2 great fights at the Bone Tree. High school fights. You leave right after school.
That was a Waycross. Was that
was a Waycross. That was a Waycross thing. But there's some old Waycross souls on here. Could somebody tell me and pinpoint and drop a little pin exactly where the Bone Tree is? I'd like to go revisit some. I'm a little confused on when that is. I don't remember too. I always went to go look at the spook light or the spook light or.
Yeah.
I don't remember where that is. If somebody could tell me where the spook light is. I've done the whole Lydia Stone thing. I remember where that is. But I need help with figuring out the Bone Tree. Anything from you today, Mr. Producer, this 27th episode of the Clay and Woodrow Show?
Well, I just wanted to give you some support on that ticket. I know for a fact, just come up this week, somebody in my family got a warning. A warning.
A warning. It's funny, I didn't get a warning.
But this was...
But I was treated cordially. And that's good. I will say, because I'm in so much trouble, can I just keep digging? So yesterday,
let me get find your shovel.
On the way home, I was behind one of our best and bright, one of our officers, and he was in his car and he was on patrol. And I'm thankful for them. What else am I supposed to say to cover myself? God bless them, all those kind of things.
Yeah, definitely.
And can I tell you what he did at the exact same stop sign? He rolled right through it.
Almost. Yeah, hey, I almost stopped.
He rolled right through it just like I did. And to be honest with you, what my reaction to that was? Sir, I don't have a problem with that. That's what 100% of all vehicles do right here at this stop sign. Man. But he rolled right through it. And I wanted to get my phone, but then you're the guy who's videoing while you're driving, and then Facebook gets on you for that. But he rolled right through it just like I did.
You're in a no-win situation.
Yeah, because that's what human beings do when you come to a four-way stop, and there's not a car within 10 million miles around. That's what human beings do. Technically, though, guess who's in the fault here, Mr. Producer? Number uno.
Yeah,
I can live with it.
the buck stops there.
This buck stops right here. So it's on me. $183. I'm proud to give it.
Have you ever played horseshoes?
Yeah, I played horseshoes.
Now, almost will get you a lot there,
Yeah.
but not in,
Horseshoes and hand grenades.
yeah.
But with the
not-
WPD, negative. Negative.
almost counts for not.
To serve and protect. That's what he was doing. He was protecting
He was serving.
the citizens from a vehicle that, from his own words, almost came to a complete stop. But anyhow, listen, that guy's just doing his job.
Yeah, he is.
God bless him. Just doing his job. So, Mr. Producer, anything else from you? Anything at all?
Can't think of anything.
Appreciate you being here today. Hope you had a great Memorial Day. I did with my family.
I did. There were the words were spoken in my house. Best Memorial Day ever.
Whoa.
Yeah, but broke out the grill, did some ribeyes. They turned out perfect. Grilled some corn.
Some ribeyes.
Yeah, it was nice.
The Trump bugs were gone.
Stimulus. It was stimulating my appetite.
All right, man. It's good seeing all of y'all. All this just in good fun. God bless the police. God bless property tax payers, and God bless high school football. See y'all. It's good to see y'all. Y'all have a great, great weekend. Take care.
On the side, let her go.